the train pulls into Kyoto Station with a smoothness that defies the speed it was just traveling. The Shinkansen, the bullet train, has carried its passengers from Tokyo in barely over 2 hours, covering a distance that would have taken ancient travelers days or weeks. Now the journey ends, and the city of 1,000 temples awaits. Kyoto Station itself is an architectural statement, all steel and glass and dramatic angles, thoroughly modern in a city known for its preservation of the ancient. The contrast is intentional, perhaps, a reminder that Kyoto is not a museum but a living city, capable of both remembering and renewing. The platform is crowded but orderly. Passengers disembark with the efficiency that characterizes Japanese public transit. Bags are gathered, directions consulted, departures made with purpose. The station hums with movement, thousands of individual journeys intersecting briefly before diverging. Finding the exit requires navigating levels and escalators and corridors lined with shops. The station is a small city in itself, containing restaurants, department stores, theaters, hotels. A person could spend days here without ever stepping outside. But outside is where Kyoto waits. The first breath of Kyoto air carries something different from Tokyo. Less density, perhaps, or more history, or simply the particular mixture of incense and vegetation and cooking that defines this place. The mountains are visible at the edge of the green boundaries that have contained this city for over a millennium. A taxi line offers transport to the accommodation, a traditional ryokan in a quiet neighborhood. The driver is elderly and courteous, his uniform immaculate, his driving deliberate. The city passes the windows, modern buildings giving way to narrower streets, contemporary shops yielding to older facades. The ryokan appears modest from the street, its entrance marked by a subtle sign and a Norin curtain. Stepping through the entrance feels like stepping back in time, the busy street suddenly replaced by a small garden, the noise replaced by the sound of water trickling from a bamboo fountain. Shoes are removed and placed on a wooden shelf. Slippers are provided for walking on the polished wood floors. A woman in kimono appears, bowing deeply, welcoming the guest with phrases that sound like poetry even without understanding the words. The room is a study in simplicity. Tatami mats cover the floor, their grassy scent permeating the air. A low table sits in the center, cushions arranged around it. The futon is not visible, stored in closets until evening. A tokonoma alcove displays a hanging scroll and a single flower arrangement. Shoji screens slide open to reveal a small private garden, all moss and stones, and a single maple tree. The garden is perhaps 3 meters square, but designed to suggest infinite depth. Every stone is placed with intention. Every patch of moss is maintained with care. Tea appears, brought by the kimono-clad woman, who kneels to serve it with gestures that seem both natural and formal. The cup is warm in the hands. The tea is green and slightly bitter, the taste of Japan in liquid form. Small sweets accompany it, balancing the bitterness with sweetness. This is the moment of arrival. Not the train pulling in, not the taxi pulling up, but this, sitting on tatami, holding tea, looking at a garden designed to be looked at. The journey has ended. The stay has begun. The afternoon is for orienting. A walk through the neighborhood reveals temples at nearly every corner, some famous, some known only to locals. The narrow streets wind between traditional wooden houses, their facades maintained across generations. A canal runs through part of the neighborhood, its banks lined with willows that arc over the water. Stone bridges cross at intervals, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. A heron stands motionless in the shallows, so still that it might be a sculpture. The Gion district is not far, the famous geisha quarter, though the geisha are rarely seen in daylight. The streets are quieter than expected, the tea houses closed until evening. But the atmosphere is present, the sense of entering a world that operates by different rules. A coffee shop offers rest and observation. The Japanese have embraced coffee with their characteristic thoroughness, developing their own pour-over techniques, their own roasting styles, their own aesthetic of the cafe. The cup that arrives is precisely prepared, its presentation as important as its taste. Watching Kyoto pass the window, the city reveals its rhythm. Elderly women in kimono walk beside young people in contemporary fashion. Monks in robes share the sidewalk with businessmen in suits. Tradition and modernity coexist without apparent conflict. The evening approaches, and with it the question of dinner. The ryokan offers kaiseki, the traditional multi-course meal, but so do many restaurants in the neighborhood. The decision to eat at the ryokan is made. The experience of having dinner served in the room by the same gracious woman who served tea feels particularly Kyoto. The meal arrives in courses that each constitute a small artwork. A clear soup with a single mushroom floating at its center. Sashimi arranged as though painted. Grilled fish whose skin crackles with perfect texture. Pickled vegetables whose colors seem chosen by an artist. Rice that is so perfectly cooked that each grain is distinct yet cohesive. Eating kaiseki is a meditation. Each course is to be contemplated, not just consumed. The presentation notes the season. The ingredients celebrate the region. The progression from light to substantial to light again follows a logic that the palate understands, even if the mind does not. By the meal's end, the futon has been laid, the room transformed into a sleeping space. The shoji screens are closed against the cooling evening. The garden is invisible now, but somehow still present, its stillness radiating through the paper. Sleep in Kyoto feels different. The city's age permeates even unconsciousness. Dreams come in muted colors, in sounds of bells and water, in images of temples glimpsed and temples anticipated. The first night passes. The first day in Kyoto is complete. And there is more to come. So much more. A city of 1,000 temples. Waiting for the next morning, and the next temple, and the next moment of beauty that this city offers so freely to whoever comes, with eyes to see and heart to receive. Welcome to Kyoto. Morning in Kyoto begins with the sounds of the neighborhood waking. A distant bell tolls from one of the temples. Sliding doors open and close, neighbors beginning their days. The garden outside the shoji screens is visible in early light, dew glinting on the moss, the maple leaves motionless in still air. Breakfast at the ryokan is another ritual. The same low table, the same cushions, the same gracious service. But the food is entirely different from dinner. Grilled fish, miso soup, pickled vegetables, rice, a raw egg to stir into the rice, green tea to complete the meal. The breakfast of tradition, unchanged for generations. Today is for temples. Kyoto has over 1,000 of them, more than could be visited in a lifetime, but certain ones are essential. The choice of where to begin is itself a kind of statement. The Golden Pavilion, the Silver Pavilion, the Moss Garden, the Rock Garden, the Philosopher's Path, all wait for the visitor who must choose. Kinkakujai, the Golden Pavilion, exerts its pull. The temple is famous worldwide, its image reproduced endlessly, but no reproduction prepares for the reality. The building rises from its reflecting pond, covered entirely in gold leaf, glittering in a way that seems impossible for something so ancient. The crowds are considerable, even early in the morning. Tourists from around the world cluster at the designated viewpoints, cameras raised, seeking the perfect shot. The temple ignores them all, reflecting itself in its pond with serene indifference. Walking the garden path that circles the pond, new views of the pavilion emerge at every turn. The designers of this space understood visitor movement, understood the power of revealing beauty in stages. Each view is composed, each angle considered, each step part of a choreography centuries old. Beyond the main pavilion, the gardens continue. A tea house perches on a hillside. Stone lanterns mark the path. Trees that have been trained for generations create shapes that seem natural, but are entirely artificial. The distinction between nature and design has dissolved. Leaving Kinkakujai, the decision of what to visit next presents itself. The rock garden at Ryonjai is nearby, and the contrast between gold and stone seems appropriate. The bus or taxi could make the journey quickly, but walking allows for discovery along the way. The walk passes through residential neighborhoods that tourists rarely see. Small gardens decorate tiny houses. A woman sweeps her entrance with a straw broom. A cat watches from a windowsill. The everyday Kyoto emerges, the city that exists when the temples close. Ryonjai appears through its main gate, a complex of buildings surrounding the famous rock garden. The garden itself is small, smaller than photographs suggest, just 15 stones arranged in groups on a rectangle of raked gravel. Yet people sit before it for hours, studying, meditating, trying to understand. Sitting on the viewing platform, the garden works its strange magic. The gravel is raked in patterns that suggest water. The stones rise like islands. The psychology of the arrangement defies explanation, but has real effect. The mind slows. Thoughts simplify. Something opens. From any position, only 14 of the 15 stones are visible. The 15th hides behind one of the others. This has been analyzed endlessly, metaphors proposed about the nature of reality and perception. But perhaps the lesson is simpler. Completion is always slightly out of reach. Lunch happens at a small restaurant near the temple, a place that serves only tofu. The preparation varies: fried tofu, steamed tofu, tofu in broth, tofu with sauces. What seems monotonous in description is varied in practice. The protein transforms under different treatments, revealing unexpected depths. The afternoon continues the temple circuit. Jinkakujai, the silver pavilion, was meant to be covered in silver, but never was, the funds exhausted before the project completed. Its beauty is therefore accidental, the dark wood more subtle than silver would have been. The garden at Jinkakujai is different from the rock garden at Ryonjai. Here, moss predominates, a velvet carpet that covers every surface that sun does not reach. The famous sand garden features a perfectly conical mound, its form maintained by careful raking. A stream flows through the grounds, crossed by small bridges. The Philosopher's Path begins near Jinkakujai, a canal-side walk that connects temples and shrines along its length. Named for a philosopher who walked it daily while meditating, the path is lined with cherry trees that would be spectacular in spring, but are simply green now. Walking the Philosopher's Path as the day begins to wane, the visitors thin out. The light turns golden. The shadows lengthen. The temples along the route are smaller and less famous, but no less beautiful for their anonymity. A shrine offers a moment of rest. The wooden structure is simple, its offerings modest. An ima board holds wooden plaques covered with wishes and prayers. The requests are mostly in Japanese, but some are in English, Korean, Chinese, all the languages of those who have come here hoping. The return to the ryokan, as evening approaches, feels like returning home. The neighborhood is familiar now, the landmarks recognized. The entrance, with its Norin curtain and bamboo fountain, welcomes as it welcomed the day before. The slippers wait. The tatami waits. The garden waits. The bath is a Japanese tradition that requires full participation. The deep soaking tub is filled with hot water. The body is washed outside the tub, then enters the water for soaking. The heat penetrates muscles tired from walking. Time dissolves. Dinner arrives again, kaiseki again, but different courses, different presentations, the chef's response to a different day. The woman who serves speaks a little of the meal, explaining seasonal references that would otherwise be missed. The conversation is minimal but warm. Sleep comes more easily the second night. The body has begun to adjust to the futon, to the tatami, to the sounds of this neighborhood. The dreams that come are populated with temple imagery, gold and stone and moss and water. The second night passes. The second day is complete. And Kyoto offers more. Always more. The temples continue. The gardens wait. The beauty unfolds. Day by day. Stone by stone. Moment by moment. Until the visitor understands. What cannot be understood. Only experienced. Only lived. Only remembered. Afterward. Forever. The third day offers a slower pace, a deliberate stepping back from the intensity of temple visiting. Kyoto rewards not only the seeking of beauty, but also the allowing of beauty to find the seeker. Today is for wandering without destination. Breakfast at the ryokan follows its familiar pattern, the same gentle ritual, the same careful presentation. But this morning the eating is slower, the appreciation deeper. The pickled plum has a flavor that demands attention. The miso soup carries the depth of fermentation. Each element of the meal reveals itself. The neighborhood itself provides the day's first exploration. Streets that were passed quickly before now receive careful attention. A traditional sweets shop displays its wares in the window. Mochi in seasonal colors, senbei crackers tied with paper, wagashi confections that seem too beautiful to eat. The shopkeeper is elderly, her movements practiced over decades. She wraps the purchase in paper, ties it with string, bows as she presents it. The entire transaction takes longer than efficiency would suggest, but efficiency is not the point. The exchange is its own reward. A small temple, not in any guidebook, opens its gates. The main hall is simple, the altar modest, the garden barely a garden. But someone maintains it. Someone sweeps the paths. Someone replaces the flowers on the altar. The devotion is quiet but real. Sitting in this obscure temple, alone except for an elderly man who is perhaps the caretaker, the purpose of the journey clarifies. It is not the famous temples that matter most. It is the practice of attention itself. The willingness to stop, to look, to notice what is present. The walk continues through neighborhoods that grow progressively more residential. Laundry hangs on balconies. Children ride bicycles too big for them. A grandmother tends a garden plot no larger than a table. The everyday life of Kyoto unfolds without performance. A kiseitan, a traditional Japanese coffee shop, provides the morning's caffeine. These are not the sleek modern cafes, but the older style, with wood-paneled walls, jazz playing softly, the barista as old as the shop. The coffee is hand-dripped with a care that borders on reverence. Drinking this coffee, watching the street through glass that might not have been changed in 50 years, time becomes elastic. This moment could be happening now or decades ago. The specific has released into the general, the particular into the timeless. Lunch happens accidentally, a shop chosen because its door was open and its interior inviting. The menu is written only in Japanese, but pointing to what another customer is eating achieves the purpose. Noodles and broth arrive, steaming, fragrant, exactly what was needed. The afternoon drifts toward Nishiki Market, the narrow covered street known as Kyoto's kitchen. Here vendors sell everything that goes into the Kyoto diet. Pickles of every kind, fish fresh and preserved, tofu in varieties beyond counting, knives sharp enough to threaten. Walking through Nishiki is sensory saturation. The calls of vendors, the colors of produce, the smells of fish and pickles and grilling meat all combine into an experience that resists parsing. It is too much and exactly enough. The appetite builds. Samples are offered everywhere. A pickled cucumber here. A skewer of octopus there. A sweet bean paste confection. The sampling constitutes a meal if enough samples are gathered, and gathering samples is the main activity. A knife shop draws attention. The blades are displayed like jewelry, each one handmade by smiths whose families have been making knives for generations. The prices reflect the craftsmanship. A single knife might cost several $100s. But the blade will last a lifetime, will hold its edge, will cut with a precision that mass-produced knives never achieve. The transaction, should one occur, is itself a ritual. The knife is presented, its lineage explained. The buyer's hand is observed, the grip noted. The knife is wrapped in layers of paper, boxed, presented as a gift. The object has transferred not just ownership, but responsibility. Evening approaches, and the streets of Gion beckon. This is the hour when the geisha and maiko emerge, hurrying between appointments in their elaborate costumes. Catching a glimpse requires patience and respect. Photographs are taken quickly, sometimes furtively, the geisha ignoring the attention with practiced indifference. The tea houses of Gion are not open to casual visitors. Their doors are unmarked, their clientele referral only. The business that happens inside is centuries old, a specific form of entertainment that outsiders can only imagine. The mystery is part of the appeal. Dinner this evening is at a counter sushi restaurant, the kind where the chef prepares each piece before you, presents it, watches as you eat. The fish is impossibly fresh, the rice at body temperature, the wasabi freshly grated. Each piece is a moment complete in itself. The chef speaks minimal English, but communicates clearly through gesture and expression. When he is pleased with a piece, his face shows it. When you are pleased with eating it, your face shows it. The conversation is wordless but real. Walking back to the ryokan through nighttime Kyoto, the streets are quieter but not empty. Lanterns glow at restaurant entrances. Temples are lit with subtle illumination. The city that seemed ancient in daylight seems ageless at night. The day has been nothing and everything. No famous temples were visited. No guidebook sites were checked off. But the experience of Kyoto has deepened in ways that checkmarks cannot measure. The ryokan welcomes. The bath soothes. The futon receives. Sleep comes. Effortlessly. As it should. In a place that has been welcoming travelers for 1,000 years and will continue for 1,000 more. Long after this visit is forgotten by everyone except the one who was here, who is here, who sleeps now, dreaming of temples and tea in time that moves differently. Here, Fushimi Inari deserves its own day, or at least its own morning. The shrine with 10,000 torii gates is Kyoto's most visited site, drawing crowds at all hours. But arriving early, before the tour buses, before the Instagram seekers, the experience transforms. The train to Fushimi Inari Station takes barely minutes from central Kyoto. The station opens directly onto the approach to the shrine, a path lined with food stalls not yet open, lanterns not yet lit. The main gate appears, vermilion against the dawn sky. The first torii gates begin modestly, large enough for crowds to pass through comfortably. But soon the path splits, the gates multiply, the famous tunnel of orange begins. The gates are so close together that they form a continuous passage, light filtering through gaps between the beams. Walking through this tunnel, as the only human present, creates an experience that later crowds will make impossible. The gates seem to breathe, their vermilion color changing with the light. The path climbs the mountain, the city dropping away below, the tunnel continuing endlessly upward. Each gate is a donation, paid for by businesses or individuals seeking divine favor. The donors' names are painted on the gates in black, company names and personal names and dates that span decades. The shrine has been receiving these donations for centuries. The gates accumulate. The path divides and redivides, different routes to different sub-shrines scattered across the mountainside. Foxes appear in statuary everywhere, the messengers of Inari, the god of rice and prosperity. They wear red bibs and are offered rice and fried tofu. The climb takes hours if done completely, reaching the summit of Mount Inari, where views encompass all of Kyoto and beyond. But the summit is not required. The experience happens at every step, each gate passed, each fox encountered, each moment of wonder at this accumulation of faith. A rest stop midway up the mountain provides refreshment. Amazake, a sweet fermented rice drink, is the traditional choice. The taste is complex, somewhere between sake and koji, warming even in the mountain morning. The pause allows the feet to recover. The descent offers different views, the gates now framing the path downward, the city appearing in glimpses between the vermilion. Other visitors are appearing now, the early solitude being replaced by the company that this place usually knows. Back at the main shrine, the food stalls have opened. Inarizashi, the tofu pouches stuffed with rice, are the specialty here, named for the shrine itself. The pouches are sweet from simmering in seasoned broth. The rice is tangy from vinegar. The combination is perfect light breakfast or substantial snack. The afternoon takes a different direction. Arashiyama, the bamboo district on Kyoto's western edge. Another train ride, another neighborhood, another entirely different atmosphere. Where Fushimi Inari is vermilion and vertical, Arashiyama is green and enveloping. The bamboo grove is the famous image, the one that appears on every Kyoto poster. The stalks rise straight as columns, their tops converging toward sky. The light that reaches the ground is green-filtered, cool and submarine. The path winds through the grove, pilgrims and tourists sharing the way. Photographs cannot capture the bamboo grove. They flatten what is spatial, silence what is sound. The actual experience includes the creaking of the stalks when wind moves them, the rustling of leaves at the canopy, the depth that extends in all directions. The photograph shows a path. The reality inhabits a world. Beyond the grove, Arashiyama offers other attractions. The Tochisukayo Bridge spans the river with elegant arches. The Tenryujai Garden is considered among Japan's finest. A monkey park on the opposite hillside offers close encounters with macaques. A boat ride on the river reveals views denied to those on land. The afternoon is for the garden at Tenryujai. The layout is classic. A pond reflecting mountains beyond, stones placed with intention, trees trained over centuries. But this garden connects visual and natural, using the actual mountains behind as part of its composition. The borrowed scenery extends the garden to infinity. Sitting on the wooden platform that extends from the main hall, looking at this garden, the mind achieves a particular stillness. The garden is not doing anything. It is simply existing. The existence is sufficient to occupy all attention. Time passes without measurement. Other visitors come and go. The light shifts across the pond. Clouds move in the sky and in the reflection. The garden continues its patient work of existing, indifferent to who observes, offering itself equally to all. The return to the ryokan as evening approaches has become routine, which is not a criticism. The routine is itself a pleasure. The familiar entrance, the familiar slippers, the familiar greeting that manages to be both standard and sincere. Tonight the bath precedes dinner, the long walk demanding recovery. The hot water is more medicinal today, the soak longer, the relaxation deeper. The body has worked and now receives its reward. Kaiseki arrives once more, the third evening, the courses now anticipated but still surprising. The chef has responded to the season, to the weather, to whatever inspiration struck. Each course is new yet recognizable, variations on themes that have been established. Sleep begins before it is invited, the body surrendering before the mind has finished processing. The gates of Fushimi Inari reappear in dreams, dream foxes carrying messages between dream shrines, the vermilion impossible red against impossible sky. The fourth day dawns. The fourth day passes into night. Kyoto continues. Its 1,000 temples. Its 10,000 gates. Its 100,000 moments. Of beauty. That cannot be counted. Only received. Only remembered. Only loved. In whatever way. Love is possible. For stones. And gates. And gardens. And tea. And this place. This ancient place. That welcomes everyone. Eventually. Who comes? A day trip to Nara provides contrast and complement to Kyoto. The ancient capital, predating Kyoto by nearly a century, offers its own temples and treasures. But Nara is perhaps most famous for its deer, sacred animals that roam the park freely, bowing for crackers from delighted visitors. The train to Nara passes through countryside that changes gradually from urban to suburban to rural. Rice paddies appear, their flooded surfaces reflecting sky. Mountains rise in the distance, boundaries that defined ancient Japan. The journey takes less than an hour, but spans centuries. Nara Station is smaller and quieter than Kyoto Station, the pace gentler, the crowds thinner. The walk to Nara Park passes shops selling deer-related merchandise. Plush deer, deer crackers, deer ear headbands for visitors who wish to join the herd aesthetically. The first deer appears before the park is properly entered, a doe browsing in a temple courtyard. She looks up as visitors approach, assesses whether food might be forthcoming, returns to her browsing when the assessment is negative. The transaction is clear and businesslike. The park itself swarms with deer, hundreds of them, perhaps 1,000. They congregate where tourists congregate, having learned over centuries where the crackers appear. Some are patient and polite. Others are aggressive, nudging and nipping at the hands that are slow to produce treats. Buying the crackers, special wafers sold by vendors throughout the park, initiates a relationship that is immediate and intimate. The deer approach, bow their heads in a gesture that looks like politeness, but is probably conditioning, and expect payment. The crackers disappear with remarkable speed. Some deer are less eager, content to lie in the shade and observe. These elder statespersons have perhaps tired of the tourist game. They watch with what might be wisdom or what might be mere satiation. Their antlers are impressive, filed down by park authorities to prevent injury. Beyond the deer, Nara Park contains some of Japan's oldest and most significant temples. Tadaijai houses the Daibutsu, the Great Buddha, a bronze statue of immense scale that has sat in its wooden hall for over a millennium. The building that houses it is one of the world's largest wooden structures. Entering Tadaijai's main hall, the Buddha looms. Photographs convey the scale, but not the presence. The statue is not just large, but somehow alive, radiating a calm that makes all the approaching visitors seem smaller, less significant, appropriately humble before something so clearly more permanent. The hall itself impresses. The wooden beams that support the ceiling are entire trees, harvested centuries ago, transported by means that modern logistics can barely imagine. The construction required the labor of countless artisans whose names are lost but whose work remains. Other halls in the Tadaijai complex house other treasures: smaller Buddhas, fierce guardians, administrative buildings that demonstrate the temple's political importance. The complex was the spiritual center of ancient Japan, its monks wielding power that rivaled the imperial court. A hillside path leads to Nagatsu-do, the February hall, named for a ritual held there annually for over 1,000 years. The platform offers views across Nara, the city laid out below, the mountains rising beyond. This is where ancient monks looked out on an ancient city. The view has changed little. Lunch in Nara features local specialties: persimmon leaf sushi, rice wrapped in the leaves of persimmons that grow abundantly in the region. The leaves impart a subtle flavor and have antimicrobial properties that made them the original refrigeration for travelers. The sushi is simple, but speaks of place. The afternoon includes Kasuga-taisha, the Shinto shrine famous for its thousands of lanterns. Stone lanterns line the approach, bronze lanterns hang within the buildings. The lanterns are lit twice yearly, transforming the shrine into something from another world. Even unlit, they create atmosphere. Deer roam among the lanterns, sacred to the shrine as well as to the park. A deer resting beneath a stone lantern creates an image that seems designed for photography. Perhaps it is, the deer may know their aesthetic duties. The return train to Kyoto carries the weight of the day's discoveries. Nara is smaller than Kyoto, more manageable, perhaps more comprehensible. The temples are older, the treasures more significant, the atmosphere more intimate. As a day trip, it complements rather than competes. Back at the ryokan, the familiar rituals comfort. The bath is particularly welcome after the day's walking. The kaiseki is particularly appreciated after the persimmon leaf sushi. The futon is particularly inviting after the train rides and temple visits. Sleep is deer-haunted. Dreams involve walking through lantern-lit corridors, deer appearing and disappearing, the great Buddha watching with bronze eyes that never close. The ancient and the present blend into something that is neither but partakes of both. The Nara day is complete. One more day in Kyoto remains. One more morning. One more set of temples or streets or gardens. Then the return. To wherever. The return is coming from. But not yet. Not quite yet. One more day. To hold. To savor. To remember. Before the memory is all that remains of this place, this time, this visit. That is almost complete. The final full day in Kyoto arrives with the particular bittersweet quality that endings carry. Everything seen today will be seen for the last time. Every temple visited will be a farewell. Breakfast at the ryokan is slower this morning, the appreciation heightened by imminence. The elderly woman who has served every meal seems to sense the significance. Her bow is deeper, her smile warmer, her service even more attentive than before. Today is for the eastern mountains, the temples that cluster on the hillsides between the city and the surrounding peaks. Kiyomizu-dera, the pure water temple, is the destination, but the journey there will include whatever presents itself. The walk to Kiyomizu begins through the Higashiyama neighborhood, streets lined with traditional shops selling Kiyomizu pottery, the local craft named for the temple on the hill above. The glazes are distinctive, blues and greens and earth tones that seem to belong to this landscape. The slope steepens as the temple approaches. The shops give way to stone stairs, the stairs to gates, the gates to the temple complex itself. This temple is built into the hillside, its main hall extending out over the valley on a wooden platform that seems to float. The expression in Japanese is leap from the stage of Kiyomizu, meaning to take a decisive action, to commit fully. The drop from the platform is considerable, and in centuries past, people actually did leap, some surviving, some not, all seeking divine intervention. Standing on this platform, looking out over Kyoto spread below, the urge to leap is absent, but the scale of the view is impressive. The city extends toward distant mountains. Temples and shrines are visible as patches of green in the urban fabric. The sound of the city rises faintly, mixed with the sound of water from the falls below. The pure water of the temple's name flows from a waterfall in 3 streams. Visitors queue to drink from the streams, each said to confer different benefits: longevity, success in school, luck in love. Drinking from all 3 is considered greedy. The choice reveals character. Beyond the main hall, the temple complex spreads across the hillside. Sub-temples and shrines offer their own objects of devotion. A stone Gizo figure is dressed in a red bib, offerings placed at its feet. A shrine for matchmaking displays countless paper charms tied to racks, prayers for love written and hung. The path continues through forests and gardens, connecting Kiyomizu to other temples on the mountain. Each one deserves attention. Together they could occupy days. Today, the sampling is what is possible. A pause here, a prayer there, a moment of appreciation everywhere. Descending by a different route, the Ninenzaka and Sanenzaka slopes reveal Kyoto's most photographed streetscapes. Traditional wooden buildings, immaculately preserved, line narrow lanes that appear unchanged from centuries past. The crowds are considerable, but the beauty transcends the crowds. Tea becomes necessary. A tea house tucked away from the main tourist flow offers matcha and sweets in a room overlooking a small garden. The matcha is thick and slightly bitter. The sweets are perfectly balanced to complement. The garden is just a few meters square, but contains enough to observe through an entire tea. The afternoon drifts toward Gion one last time. Today the geisha district is busier, the evening approaching, the tea houses preparing for their events. Watching from a discreet distance, the kimono-clad figures emerge and disappear, their movements purposeful, their faces impassive. A final temple visit seems appropriate. Shinin, the headquarters of the Pure Land sect, containing the largest bell in Japan and a gate that overwhelms with scale. The temple complex covers an entire hillside, dormitories and training halls and gardens stretching beyond sight. Climbing to the main hall requires a series of staircases that measure dedication. At the top, the Amida Buddha presides over a hall of enormous proportions. Monks chant in a side building, their voices rising and falling in cadences that have persisted for 8 centuries. Sitting in the temple as the day begins to wane, listening to the distant chanting, watching the light change through the screens, the visit reaches its culmination. This is what was sought. This immersion, this transformation, this temporary becoming something else. The return to the ryokan is slow, deliberately so. Each street is observed. Each shop window considered. Each temple glimpsed through its gates. The city that was new a week ago is known now, or at least known as much as a week can achieve. The final kaiseki is spectacular. The chef clearly informed that this is the farewell meal. Courses arrive that exceed all previous courses. Presentations more elaborate, flavors more layered, portions more generous. The meal extends for hours, each course a small goodbye. The final bath is long and hot and contemplative. The body that entered this city will leave tomorrow, carrying with it the accumulated experiences of the days between. The water holds everything. The final sleep in the futon comes with difficulty. The mind does not want to surrender consciousness, does not want to release this experience into memory. But sleep comes anyway, as it always does, transforming the present into past. Dreams are filled with temples and gates and gardens, and deer and geisha and tea, and everything that Kyoto has offered. The final night passes. The final dawn arrives. And it is time to leave. What cannot be left? To carry away. What cannot be carried? To remember. What cannot fully be remembered? Kyoto. For a time. For all time. In whatever way. Memory works. Which is imperfectly. Which is the only way. Anything. Really. Works. At all. Farewell. Kyoto. Until. Whenever. Next time. If there is. A next time. There must be. A next time. There will be. Somehow. Someday. The 1,000 temples. will wait, as they have waited, for 1,000 years, for whoever comes. Next, the morning of departure is practical rather than poetic. The bag must be packed. The room must be checked. The bill must be settled. The taxi must be called. The rituals of leaving overlay the emotions of ending. The elderly woman who has served every meal performs her final service, helping to carry the bag to the entrance, ensuring that nothing is forgotten, bowing repeatedly as the guest prepares to leave. Her kindness has been consistent and genuine. Her farewell seems personal. The taxi to the station reverses the route of arrival, the ryokan receding in the rear window, the neighborhood giving way to busier streets. The driver is different from the arrival driver, indifferent rather than warm, but the city passing the windows is the same city, known now, beloved now. Kyoto Station bustles with morning activity. The Shinkansen platforms are busy with business people and tourists, with students and families. The boarding call sounds, musical and precise, and the train glides into the station with its characteristic grace. Taking a seat by the window, the city begins to recede. The temples are invisible now, hidden in their neighborhoods, but their presence is felt. The mountains that ring the city slide past, then disappear, then become memory like everything else. The train accelerates to its cruising speed, the landscape blurring into abstraction. Rice paddies, towns, factories, mountains, all pass too quickly for individual perception. The mind is not here anyway. The mind is still in Kyoto. What will remain from this visit? The photographs, of course, though they will seem flat against the memory. The souvenirs, selected carefully but inevitably inadequate. The physical changes, the muscles loosened by baths, the palate awakened by flavors, the eyes refreshed by beauty. And something else, something harder to name. A recalibration of what is possible. A reminder that beauty can be lived inside, not just viewed from outside. An understanding that old and new can coexist without conflict. A sense that slowness and attention are not inadequate but essential. These are the gifts that Kyoto gives, that Japan gives, that travel gives when it works. The destination changes the traveler. The traveler carries the destination forever after. The exchange is not complete until return, until the trying to maintain what was found, until the inevitable erosion and the eventual return. The train arrives at its destination. The journey phase of the trip begins its own ending. The day will continue with transfers and airports, and security and boarding, and flight and arrival. But those are mechanics. The essential journey ended when the ryokan disappeared from the rear window. The woman in kimono bowing at the entrance. The tea in the simple room. The gardens designed for contemplation. The temples accumulating across centuries. The gates painted vermilion. The deer bowing for crackers. The food arriving in courses. The futon on the tatami. The bath filled with hot water. All of these are Kyoto now. All of these are memory now. All of these are carried, imperfectly but really, in the traveler who is no longer in Kyoto but will always have been in Kyoto, will always carry that week, that city, that experience. The flight, when it comes, is unremarkable. The tube of the aircraft, the processed air, the entertainment screens, all are opposite of what Kyoto offered. The contrast is painful and perhaps useful. It clarifies what was special by presenting what is ordinary. Somewhere over the ocean, or perhaps over land again, the exhaustion wins. Sleep comes in the uncomfortable seat, fitful and unsatisfying. Dreams flicker through, fragments of temples, glimpses of deer, a woman in kimono bowing endlessly. The arrival, whenever and wherever it is, feels anticlimactic. The baggage carousel, the customs line, the taxi or train to wherever home is, the familiar streets that seem less familiar after seeing unfamiliar streets. the door that opens to the room that is not a ryokan. But the memory is there. The memory will stay. Kyoto will return in unexpected moments. A smell of green tea, a glimpse of a garden, a gate painted some inadequate orange. The triggers will come, and with them the recollections. This is what travel is for. Not to escape, but to collect. Not to forget, but to remember. Not to become someone else, but to expand who one already is. Kyoto has been added. The 1,000 temples, seen and unseen. The ancient gardens. The sacred deer. The vermilion gates climbing into clouds. All of this is now part of whoever experienced it. Forever part. Inseparably part. Kyoto. In the heart. In the mind. In what dreams are made of. From now on. For as long as dreams continue. Which is forever. As far as the dreamer knows. Kyoto. Always. Kyoto. Home now. In memory. If nowhere else. In memory. Which is somewhere. Real enough. True enough. For now. For always. Kyoto. Thank you. For everything. All of it. Thank you. A day of kayaking offers a different perspective on Kyoto, one that tourists rarely discover and guidebooks rarely mention. The Hazu River flows through the mountains north of the city, passing through gorges that would seem more appropriate to wilderness than to the edge of a major metropolis. The kayak rental is a small operation, run by a family that has been on this stretch of river for 3 generations. The morning mist hangs over the water as the kayak launches. The paddle dips and pulls, the craft gliding forward with the quiet that only human-powered boats achieve. The sound of the city, never loud here, fades to nothing. The bird calls and water sounds take over. The gorge walls rise on either side, forested with maple and cedar, occasionally punctuated by rock outcroppings that create the rapids ahead. A heron stands motionless on a rock, fishing with patience that humans rarely achieve. A kingfisher flashes blue and orange, too quick to photograph. The river's pace is gentle in most stretches, allowing time to observe. Traditional fishing platforms appear, designed for ayu fishing, the sweetfish that run the rivers of Japan. The platforms are not in use today, but their presence connects this moment to centuries of people making their living from this water. The rapids, when they come, require attention rather than skill. The kayak is stable, the route marked, the consequences of error minimal. But the heart rate increases, the focus sharpens, the body engages in ways that passive sightseeing does not require. The silence between rapids is profound. The city is just over the mountains, but it might as well be another country. The only sounds are water, birds, and the occasional splash of fish. The solitude is almost complete. Lunch happens on a gravel bar, the kayak pulled up on shore, a bento purchased at the convenience store before departure. The food is simple but satisfying: rice balls, pickled vegetables, a can of green tea. The setting elevates the meal beyond what its components would suggest. Sitting on that gravel bar, eating that modest lunch, watching the water flow past, the concept of Kyoto expands. The city of temples and tea houses includes this too. Wild water, forested mountains, the possibility of solitude within the urban region. The afternoon paddle is lazier, the muscles having made their point. The kayak drifts more than it is propelled. The observations become more leisurely. A snake swims across the current, its S-curve efficient and somehow beautiful. The takeout point approaches too soon. The transition from water to land feels like leaving one world for another. The body that has balanced on water for hours must now remember how to walk on ground. The adjustment takes longer than expected. The train back to the city proper passes through the same gorge, offering a different perspective on water just traveled. The recognition is pleasant. That rock, that pool, that place where the kingfisher was seen. The landscape has been earned. Back in the city, the evening streets feel different. The body holds the memory of the river. The arms hold the memory of paddling. The mind holds the memory of silence. The urban density that seemed normal before the river now seems dense, loud, compressed. The ryokan welcomes the return with its familiar rituals. But even the familiar is colored by the day's experience. The bath is more appreciated after the physical effort. The kaiseki is more appreciated after the convenience store bento. The futon is more appreciated after the gravel bar. Kyoto contains more than temples. The river has demonstrated this. The city extends beyond its famous sites to include wildness that remains accessible, preserved not by intention, but by geography, available to whoever seeks it out. The dreams tonight include water, the particular deep green of the hazu, the particular sound of the rapids, the particular silence of the stretches between. The body continues to paddle in sleep, processing the movements that the day required. Another dimension of Kyoto. Another experience to carry. Beyond temples, beyond gardens, to the river that flows. Whether anyone is there to witness or not, but we were there today, on the water, in the silence, in the wildness that the city contains but rarely shows. To tourists who do not seek, what can be found if you look beyond the guidebook, beyond the famous, to the wild that waits just over the mountains, just down the river. Always, the traditional craft of Kyoto cannot be fully appreciated in a brief visit, but even a glimpse offers insight into a culture that values making things beautifully. The Nishijin district is the historic center of textile production, where weavers have been creating kimono fabric for over a millennium. The looms still work, though their number has diminished. The sound of weaving, the clatter and thump of shuttles, was once the background hum of this neighborhood. A workshop opens its doors to visitors willing to watch. The weaver sits before the loom, her movements practiced beyond thought, her feet operating pedals while her hands throw shuttles. The pattern emerges thread by thread, gold and silk, creating images that a printer could never achieve. The complexity of the patterns seems impossible when examined closely. Each intersection of thread is deliberate. Each color is calculated. The designs may be hundreds of years old, transmitted from master to apprentice across generations. The weaver is not creating but channeling, not inventing but preserving. The cost of such work is substantial by any measure. A single obi, the wide sash worn with a formal kimono, may represent months of work and cost more than many people earn in a year. The market for such luxuries has shrunk, the occasions for wearing formal kimono having diminished, the knowledge of quality having declined. Yet the weavers persist. The workshop